When I came back home after spending the night with someone else, something didn't feel right. At first, I thought it was just guilt settling deep in my stomach, twisting like a knot. I had spent the night somewhere I shouldn't have, and the weight of my choices clung to me like an unseen presence. But as I stepped inside, I realized it wasn't just my conscience that was making me uneasy. Something was wrong. The air inside the apartment felt heavier than usual, thick with an unnatural stillness. It wasn't just quiet. It was the kind of silence that made the walls feel closer, as if the entire space was holding its breath. The scent was different too. Normally, the faint traces of coffee, lavender, and the subtle mix of our daily routines lingered in the air. But now there was something sharper, almost metallic. It made my throat feel dry. I kicked off my shoes, the sound of them landing oddly loud against the hardwood floor. My keys clinked as I tossed them onto the kitchen counter, the noise echoing in the stillness. My partner should have been awake by now. They were a light sleeper, always stirring whenever I so much as shifted in bed. But there was no movement from the living room, no soft shuffle of footsteps, no glow of a phone screen in the dimness. A chill ran down my spine as I hesitated in the hallway, my fingers hovering over the light switch. I didn't know why I was hesitating. Maybe it was because something deep in my gut was telling me that turning on the light wouldn't change the feeling that something was off. Still, I flipped the switch. The soft glow flooded the space, illuminating the neatly arranged furniture, the coffee table with the half-finished book my partner had been reading the night before. Everything looked exactly the same, and yet it didn't. I swallowed hard and called out their name. My voice sounded too loud, bouncing off the walls before being swallowed by the silence. No answer. My feet carried me toward the bedroom before I even realized I was moving. The door was slightly open, just enough for a sliver of darkness to spill into the hallway. I pushed it open slowly, my breath catching in my throat. The bed was untouched. The covers were still neatly tucked, the pillows fluffed, undisturbed. That didn't make sense. I had left them here, asleep. They should have been here. My mind scrambled for an explanation, but nothing fit. The feeling in my gut twisted tighter. Maybe they had gone out early. Maybe they had an appointment I forgot about. But then why hadn't they texted? A cool breeze ghosted over my arm, making the hairs on my skin rise. I turned my head sharply toward the window. It was open. Not just slightly cracked, but wide enough that the curtain billowed softly with the night air. My pulse quickened. I was sure I had closed it before I left. I took a slow step forward, my eyes scanning the room. That was when I saw it. A single piece of paper on the nightstand. Something about it made my stomach drop before I even reached for it. The edges were slightly curled, as if the person who had left it had hesitated before setting it down. The ink was smudged in places, the handwriting uneven, hurried. With trembling fingers, I picked it up and read the words. I know where you were. A sharp, ice-cold fear settled in my chest. My hands shook as I read the message again, as if the words would somehow change if I stared at them long enough. I moved instinctively, reaching for my phone, but the nightstand was bare except for the note. My phone wasn't there. Panic surged through me as I turned back toward the living room, scanning the apartment. My bag was still where I had left it near the door, my jacket draped over the couch, but my phone was nowhere in sight. Then I noticed something else. The closet door was open, just a crack, but enough for me to see that something was missing. My partner's suitcase. The space where it should have been was empty. A loud knock at the front door made me jump, my heart slamming against my ribs. The sound was sharp, deliberate. My breath caught in my throat as I turned toward the door, my body frozen in place. Another knock, harder this time. The kind of knock that wasn't just someone announcing their presence. It was the kind that demanded to be answered. A creeping dread unfurled inside me, a slow realization sinking into my bones. My eyes flickered to the doorknob, and my breath hitched. The door was already unlocked. I hadn't locked it when I came in.